Hello guys, welcome back to our anime explainer. Guys, please like the video and subscribe to my channel. Today is explanation of Soul Land 2 Peerless Tang Men based on novel. So let's start. He received the list and looked it over. After that, he nodded and said, "The list is right. Quickly prepare the goods. I'll come here tomorrow night at this time to collect them. I'll also pass you the remaining 500,000 gold soul coins then." "All right. We'll follow your arrangement." The middle-aged man was excited as he put the card away. After that, he sent Chenin out of the room. Huo Yuhao saw everything with his spiritual avatar and was speechless. Chenin is too greedy. I gave him 500,000 gold soul coins as a deposit earlier, but he only offered 200,000 to the seller. Furthermore, the list that Huo Yuhao saw earlier was accurate. However, the price was only half. This meant that Chenin was going to pocket half of the 1,400,000 gold soul coins involved in this deal. He was swindling both parties. However, Huo Yuhao had still managed to achieve his goal. This was the place he was looking for. After he stopped following Chenin, Huo Yuhao's spiritual avatar slowly shadowed the middle-aged man, and he continued to investigate. Morning. The weather in Radiant City had finally took a turn for the better. The sun was shining brightly, and caused the city to become extremely dazzling. After a night of rest, everyone from the Tang sect had recovered. Only Shu Sansha was still healing under the care of Jiang Nan Nan, as his injuries were slightly more serious. In the early morning, the Tang sect was already welcoming two guests, Shu Jojo and Wei Na, the two princesses. After seeing Bei Bei, Wei Na proceeded towards Shu Sanshi's room as Bei Bei led her. She used her snow lotus to treat his injury, which revealed the sincerity of the Heavenly Soul Empire. Shu Jojo mentioned that she wanted a private conversation with Huo Yuhao. Huo Yuhao smiled as he said to Shu Jojo, "Your Highness, eldest senior, is the one who decides matters in the Tang sect. You don't have to talk to me privately." Shu Jojo looked at him deeply and replied, "All right, time is tight. I'll get straight to the point. Currently, I have 3 title Doloor and around 40 detectives with me in Radiant City. Along with my troops and 15 preparatory squad members, they form the entire strength that I have in Radiant City." Huo Yuhao listened to her seriously, but didn't make a sound. Shu Jojo continued. "When we first came to Radiant City, we didn't discover much. However, we realized that something was amiss after we reached the round-robin stage. We sent 3 waves of detectives back to the Empire to deliver news, but they all disappeared without a trace. Do you remember Grandma Yi Man? Her title is Starcloud, and she has a rank 93 cultivation. As the 3 waves of detectives disappeared, she personally returned to the Star Luo Empire. However, we lost news of her as well. We were alerted because of this. After this, we tried to investigate the matter, and discovered some clues. There seems to be a trap around Radiant City. It has become a situation where we can only enter, but not leave." After hearing her words, Huo Yuhao was also shocked. He had known that the Sun Moon Empire was going to do something, but he didn't expect them to be so daring. Radiant City was the largest city on the continent. It wasn't easy to seal the entire perimeter of a city like that. With Huo Yuhao's intelligence, he immediately discovered a serious problem. "Your Highness, do you mean that the Sun Moon Empire is trying to deal with all non-Sun Moon Empire teams in this tournament?" Huo Yuhao furrowed his brow when he said this. His doubts had been answered. The greatest problem for the Tang sect now was their overall abilities and lack of manpower. They couldn't investigate on such a large scale like the Star Luo Empire. Huo Yuhao also believed that Shu Jojo wasn't lying, and the situation was only going to become more serious. Shu Jojo nodded and said, "It's highly possible. In addition, they aren't just targeting us. They are also trying to deal with the secret forces that have followed us on our journey here. For example, there's the Star Luo Empire, the Body Sect and Shrek Academy. We are all the elites of the various empires. Our team members even more so. By capturing all of us, it'll be a huge blow to the various empires. Furthermore, it also means something else if they dare to do this." Huo Yuhao's eyes flashed with a cold look. "They are prepared for war, aren't they?" Shu Jojo took in a deep breath. "That's right." She seemed to be put in a spot as she muttered those 2 words. What did it mean if the Sun Moon Empire was prepared for war? It meant that they were going to invade the Heavenly Soul and Star Luo empires. It was going to be a big war. However, were the three empires of the continent prepared? Huo Yuhao took in a deep breath. He knew that at least the Tang sect wasn't prepared. Thank you, Your Highness, for delivering such valuable news to me. What are you going to do? After yesterday's negotiations, I believe you and Princess Wei Na have reached an agreement. Shu Jojo cursed in her heart. This sly fox. I've already said so much, but is not telling me his position. That's right, we've reached an agreement. If we want to break out, we must band together. Although there are only a few teams left, we are still considered quite familiar with one another. As long as Shrek Academy and the Tang sect, as well as both Wei Na's team and mine team up together, will become a force to reckon with. We've been investigating thoroughly. Radiant City is so huge, so it's very difficult to seal it completely. We should gather our strength and escape in a particular direction. However, there's another problem regarding the war. It seems like the Sun Moon Empire is prepared, but we are not. That's why we need to try to earn more time for ourselves. We can't just directly leave. We need to deal a larger blow to the Sun Moon Empire before we leave and slow them down. In this way, we'll have more time to prepare. Huo Yuhao was in awe. Her Highness's thought process is quite clear. Although she doesn't know the arrangements of the enemy, she knows what the critical thing is: stall our enemy. Yuhao, we've interacted several times, but I still am not familiar with your academy. Can you tell me what the strength of your academy is for this tournament? If your academy is willing to cooperate with us on this mission, it'll be much better. Huo Yuhao shook his head. Your Highness, we are representing the Tang sect this time. We are really unclear on the academy's arrangements. However, I can introduce you to our eldest senior sister in the inner courtyard of the academy. You can discuss the details with her. Shu Jojo seemed a little pensive. After a moment, she nodded and replied, sounds good. I'll need to trouble you then. Huo Yuhao smiled and thought to himself, sounds good. That's your purpose, isn't it? After this brief conversation, both parties left pleased. Huo Yuhao had obtained valuable information, while Shu Jojo also achieved her goal. At this point, the Tang sect's hall was getting more and more crowded. Wei Na had already done her best to heal Shu Sanxia, and assured him that he could fight the Holy Ghost Church the next day. Zhong Lishuan also arrived with Wang Qiu'er. Zhong Lishuan was stunned when she saw princesses Wei Na and Jojo on the Tang sect side. Although she wasn't familiar with them, she had naturally been observing them. After all, they represented two different empires. And Wei Na also represented the body sect. The Tang sect's hall was now packed. There was Bei Bei, Huo Yuhao and Wang Dong'er from the Tang sect, Zhong Lishuan and Wang Qiu'er from Shrek Academy, and the two princesses. The seven of them represented four different parties. Wei Na and Shu Jojo looked at each other. Shu Jojo nodded her head gently. Zhong Lishuan smiled and said, it's really crowded in here. It's the semifinals tomorrow. Bei Bei, how are your preparations? Bei Bei replied, we've prepared everything that we need to. Tomorrow's fight will be very important. We'll do our best. Zhong Lishuan nodded slightly and pretended not to know the two princesses. She asked, these two are? Bei Bei rushed to introduce them to one another. After the three of them greeted one another, Shu Jojo seemed to turn a little anxious. She expressed her wish to converse in private with Zhong Lishuan. This time, Princess Wei Na also wanted to join in on the conversation. Zhong Lishuan didn't reject her request. The three of them borrowed one of the Tang sect's rooms and began to discuss matters with one another. The hall became much more quiet after they left. Only the three from the Tang sect and Wang Qiu'er remained. Bei Bei looked at Huo Yuhao and Wang Dong'er before he looked at Wang Qiu'er. He couldn't help but shake his head helplessly. He turned to Huo Yuhao and said, was Princess Jojo sincere earlier? Huo Yuhao nodded slightly. He recounted everything Shu Jojo had said to him earlier. He didn't withhold any information, because Wang Qiu'er was around. After all, this was a matter that concerned both Shrek Academy and the Tang sect. Moreover, he already thought of her as a trustworthy friend after their many ordeals together. After hearing Huo Yuhao's report, Bei Bei turned serious. Wang Dong'er laughed coldly. They are obviously trying to make use of us as messengers. Their real goal isn't to work with us, but with the academy. Whatever Wang Dong'er could tell, Huo Yuhao naturally could tell too. Bei Bei laughed and said, this is normal. They have titled Doluo following them, but we only have the few of us. No one will bother with us if things really escalate to a conflict between the truly strong individuals. However, they are not wrong to treat us as a part of the academy. Huo Yuhao could see a slight, but definite, and furious intent in Bei Bei's eyes. After knowing him for so long, Huo Yuhao was clearly aware that Bei Bei was actually a very proud person, even though he seemed to be very tough on the outside. The existence of the Tang sect was an important link between him and Tang Ya. How could he not have any reaction when they were being looked down upon? Huo Yuhao said, "It's actually good that they are not concerned about us. In this way, they'll become our cover when we do certain things." Bei Bei looked at him. Their gazes met, but they didn't say anything. Wang Chua, who had remained quiet all this time, suddenly stood up and said, "Eldest senior sister and I are here this time, because we want to inform all of you about what we've discovered. Whatever that Princess Jojo mentioned might not be everything that they've discovered. From what we know, Radiant City has indeed been sealed. The Sun Moon Empire deployed a few legions of Soul Engineers to mount a defensive line, with advanced ranked Soul Engineers to hold the fort. All the teams that left earlier must have been stopped by them. However, the weird thing is that they didn't seal all of Radiant City. They only sealed 3 sides, and left one side empty, the west side. It is the direction that we would take if we wanted to take the longest time to return to our academy." The information that Wang Chua provided was very important. To some extent, Shrek Academy and the Tang sect were together. She didn't conceal any information and told Huo Yuhao everything. Huo Yuhao immediately retrieved a map of Radiant City. He had bought it when they first came to Radiant City for the exchange. He opened up the map to take a look at the surrounding geography of Radiant City. Radiant City was located in a good position. 3 of the sides that it faced were vast plains suitable for farming and training soldiers. It was only the west side that faced a mountain range, called, naturally enough, the Sun Moon Mountain Range. It wasn't considered too expansive, but it blocked the western flank of Radiant City. Although Radiant City wasn't surrounded by city walls, it wasn't too far-fetched to claim that it was constructed based on the mountain range. It was just that the other 3 sides of the city were too wide, and thus hardly anyone noticed the west side of the city when they came to Radiant City. Huo Yuhao furrowed his brow when he saw the map. Encircling 3 sides and leaving one side empty. In the art of war, this strategy is used to prevent enemies from fighting too desperately by deliberately leaving an opening for them. However, the Sun Moon Empire doesn't have to do this. Their goal should be to capture us all. Why would they leave an escape route for us? Furthermore, the geography of the mountain range is very complicated. It's ideal for hiding. Sealing the mountains will also be much more tedious than sealing the vast plains. Bei Bei was also looking at the map. He said, in addition, this mountain range is very close to Radiant City. There can't be soul beasts residing in it. It should be an ordinary mountain range. The few of them started to become very doubtful. Wang Chua said, "We've thought of all that, too. From appearances, the most likely situation is because the Sun Moon Empire knows that the combination of our academy and the body sect will be too strong. That's why they've left us an escape route, but we'll have to make a detour in order to return. This will at least delay us. However, we don't know what they are trying to delay us for. After all, there are more than 10 titled Duluos between our academy, the body sect, and the Star Luo Empire. If the Sun Moon Empire wants to keep us here, they'll have to pay a huge price. It might not be something they can handle. Capturing the rest of the teams will also have dealt a huge blow to the 3 empires on the continent." Huo Yuhao suddenly shook his head and said, "No, no." His breathing had sped up as he said, "It can't be that simple. Think about it. Even if we have to make a detour to the west, how long will it delay us? Let's not even talk about titled Doluo. Even for us, we can make up for the additional distance very quickly using our flying-type soul tools. If the Sun Moon Empire wants to do something, they can't possibly do so in those additional few hours. If they are successful, I don't think people like us can affect them." As he spoke until here, he seemed to have understood something. If we think of it from the Sun Moon Empire's perspective, what would we do if we wanted to deal with our competitors in this tournament? Would we only capture a few of the members from each team and release the stronger ones? Bei Bei shook his head and said, "I certainly wouldn't do so. I'd rather let the weaker ones go, but I would have to capture the stronger ones from Shrek Academy and the body sect. After all, neither our academy nor the body sect can turn out in full strength. This means that our strength is already scattered. While the fighting strength of 10 titled Doluo is very great, this is still the Sun Moon Empire, and they also have the help of the Holy Ghost Church. Along with their Class 9 Soul Engineers, they are strong enough to threaten us if they team up. Yuhao is right. If they can keep us here, including the title Doluo, it'll be a true, critical blow to us. If I were the one leading such an operation, I'd do my best to ensure this happens. I would also try my best to capture all the title Doluo. As he finished speaking, Bei stopped. His breathing had also quickened. As he looked into Huo Yuhao's eyes, they could see one another's fear. Huo Yuhao pointed to the Sun Moon mountain range on the map and said, "Then, let's make a bold guess. Not only is this mountain range not an escape route, but it might even be the path to death. They've intentionally left this path open for us, and are trying to make us think that they are leaving an escape route for us. Their aim is to draw us over. They are really scheming." Wang Qiuer disagreed. "That's only what you think. We've sent people to check out the mountain range. There's nothing wrong with it. Although there are a few troops there to guard the region, they won't pose a threat to us. The two of you might be overreacting." Huo Yuhao replied, "Perhaps. We can't check things out, and thus it might not be good for us to comment. However, our guess can be considered rational given the situation we are in." "Qiuer, who did the academy send here?" Wang Qiuer replied, "There aren't many people from the academy, but they are the stronger ones. Elder Xian is here personally, along with another 4 elders from the Sea Gods Pavilion. Dean Xian Lin is also here. There are a total of 6 titled Doluo from our academy. Including Elder Xian, we have 4 transcendent Doluo." After hearing her words, Huo Yuhao, Wang Donga and Bei were all astonished. Although they knew that the academy would provide reinforcements, they hadn't expected the lineup to be so strong. Even Elder Xian was included, and there were 4 transcendent Doluo among the 6 titled Doluo. What did this mean? It meant that almost half the higher-ups of Shrek Academy were here. Only Dean Yang Xiaozhe was left in Shrek Academy to hold the fort. A warm feeling rose in their hearts. They were touched by the academy's regard for their safety. Wang Qiuer followed by saying, "We posit that the Sun Moon Empire left us an escape route on the west side, because Elder Xian was there to personally check it. He even scanned the entire mountain range from the sky before he came to his conclusion. It's unlikely that your guess is right." Bei nodded and said, "Perhaps we're worrying too much. If Elder Xian checked it himself, there shouldn't be any problems. With Elder Xian's abilities, how could there be something wrong if he couldn't detect anything?" Wang Donga also nodded slightly, agreeing with what he said. They trusted Elder Xian. Only Huo Yuhao seemed to be thinking of something. However, he didn't say anything. Bei said, "If that's the case, there should be more than 10 titled Doluo, given that there are 3 from the Star Luo Empire and at least 3 from the Body Sect. With such a strong lineup, I'm sure the Sun Moon Empire will be worried, since we are able to cause significant damage. In that case, it's possible that they left an escape route for us. Little Junior, what do you think?" Huo Yuhao replied, "Perhaps. However, I don't know why I feel so uneasy. If there's an escape route for us, it shouldn't be like this. However, Elder Xian also checked it himself. Let's hope that everything's fine. Qiuer, what does the academy think about sabotaging the Sun Moon Empire while we're here?" Wang Qiuer shook her head. Her expression turned slightly gentler, and she said, "Elder Xian said that it's not important whether we sabotage Radiant City. The most important thing is for us to return. Tomorrow is the semifinals, and the final will be after that. No matter what we achieve, we must leave this city. This was what Elder Xian told us to tell all of you." Huo Yuhao took in a deep breath, and his nose felt a little runny. "I don't have a family. Ever since I joined the academy, it has become my family." Wang Donga lifted her hands to clasp his shoulders. She knew that Huo Yuhao was most emotional when it came to this. Bei smiled and said, "Who says you have no family? Isn't the Tang sect your family? Since Elder Xian has already made arrangements, let's just follow it. As for sabotaging Radiant City, we don't have to do it since he doesn't want us to do so." Huo Yuhao laughed, and they looked at each other. They didn't say a single word after this. After a while, Zhong Lishuan left the room with the 2 princesses. It was obvious that their discussion wasn't very pleasant. Shu Jiujiu wore a dismal look on her face. While Wei Na seemed very calm, the gentle look in her eyes had disappeared. After they exited the room, the two princesses immediately took their leave. Just like Bei Bei and Huo Yuhao thought, the two of them had no intention of dealing with them over this matter, after they had established contact with Shrek Academy. Zhong Lishuan snorted after she watched the two princesses leave. They must be daydreaming if they are trying to tie us together. Is the Sun Moon Empire stupid? Our academy and the Tang sect possess nearly all the outstanding disciples among the younger generation. Even if they dare to take the risk, we won't dare to. Elder Xian was right. It's important for everyone to return safely. Shrek Academy was neither a sect nor a country. They wouldn't let their students take risks for any reason. This was the greatest difference they had with the Star Luo Empire, Heavenly Soul Empire, and Body Sect. Bei Bei looked at Zhong Lishuan and seemed to ask her something with his eyes. Zhong Lishuan said, "That bunch is pretty vicious. They want to attack the illustrious Virtue Hall and attempt to assassinate Xu Qianran. Xu Qianran has always been an aggressive person, and the Sun Moon Empire's emperor is going to kick the bucket soon. If Xu Qianran comes to rule the Sun Moon Empire, a war will soon break out. But if he's dead, there will be internal strife within the Sun Moon Empire. This will delay the war for some time, and give the various empires sufficient time to prepare." Huo Yuhao revealed an enlightened look. "I see. However, they are indulging in fantasies. Xu Qianran is now the Prince Regent. I've met him before. He's a very ambitious person, and had a very eerie vibe about him. He has even pulled Jing Hongchen to his side. I believe even the Holy Ghost Church has been pulled to his side, as well. It's going to be very difficult to ambush and kill him. Furthermore, Xu Qianran lost his legs to an ambush. Don't you think he'll be very wary after that painful experience? I'm afraid that it would be very unlikely to be successful." Zhong Lishuan nodded and said, "We agree on this. If they want to cause trouble, let them do it themselves. Let's just not participate. While it'll be good if they succeed, we won't be any worse off if they don't." Bei Bei asked, "When are you planning to make a move?" Zhong Lishuan said, "As I didn't express my interest to join, they didn't mention any detailed timing. However, I believe they might delay it until after the tournament if we do participate. After all, the tournament has not ended yet. If we don't join now, they might act earlier. They won't take our safety into account, either. When I mentioned that I was going to opt out, they suggested that we provide support instead. I didn't agree to that, either. That's why their attitude changed. They've started to treat us as enemies." Bei Bei said, "They have no choice but to do so. After all, it concerns the national security of both empires. Compared to the interests of an empire, individual lives are nothing. Why would they treat us as well as the academy? Let's not care about them and continue with the tournament. When it ends, we'll leave just like Elder Xian has arranged." "Okay." Zhong Lishuan nodded. Suddenly, her expression turned slightly weird and she said, "Bei Bei, are you confident tomorrow?" Bei Bei was stunned, and slowly shook his head. Tomorrow, they would be facing the Holy Ghost sect. How could they be confident when Tang Yue was in the Holy Ghost Church? It was an evil soul master sect, even more mysterious than the body sect. In the previous rounds, only a few people from the Holy Ghost Church competed. They had used their strong evil soul master abilities to advance all the way to the semifinals. Zhong Lishuan hesitated for a while before she said, "Even though all of you are representing the Tang sect, Elder Xian also told us that safety is the first priority. Nothing is more important than life. All of you are the future of the academy and the Tang sect. Winning the tournament is no longer important under the circumstances we are in right now. You must remain alive if you want to snatch Xiao Yue back." Bei Bei subconsciously lowered his head as he saw the glow in Zhong Lishuan's eyes. He gently nodded, but didn't make a sound. Zhong Lishuan suddenly became agitated. "You mule, go die if you want to." After she finished speaking, she turned around and left, slamming the door behind her. She understood Bei Bei too well. From Bei Bei's actions, she could tell that he wouldn't heed her advice. Bei Bei's expression twisted as he sighed. At times, feelings couldn't be forced. He knew that Zhong Lishuan was acting in his best interests. However, he only had Tang Yue in mind. If someone had to be blamed, Elder Mu was the one. However, Elder Mu had already passed away. Zhong Lishuan also wanted to stay true to her promise. Bei Bei was afraid to face her. Wang Qiu'er looked at Huo Yuhao and said, "I'll wait for you in the finals. No matter what plans you have, I hope to have a good fight with you when we meet." Huo Yuhao laughed bitterly. Is it interesting bullying a cripple? Wang Qiu'er's body jerked slightly, and her lips twisted. She didn't say anything else, turning around and leaving. Wang Dong'er lifted her hands and pinched his back. Huo Yuhao coughed and said to the depressed Bei Bei, "Eldest senior, let's discuss our team. To us, the Heavenly Soul Empire and Star Luo Empire's plan might be our best cover." Bei Bei lifted his head, and his expression returned to normal. He nodded gently. Huo Yuhao smiled and said, "After the semifinals, the second day will be the final of the underground tournament. The Holy Ghost Church will also be present. We should let the two princesses know about this matter. If they want to make a move, that will be the best day." Bei Bei laughed. Maybe the two princesses won't be the ones to delay the Sun Moon Empire, but us. Over these last few days, Radiant City's atmosphere had become more and more tense. The Continental Elite Youth Soul Master Tournament was about to reach its semifinal stage. At the same time, the three underground organizations were also organizing the finals of the Radiant City Elite Soul Engineering Tournament. All the tea houses and restaurants were discussing the two tournaments. Evidently, the Continental Elite Youth Soul Master Tournament was more attractive. However, everyone was also attracted to the underground tournament, as they were allowed to bet on it. Through the underground tournaments, the three underground organizations benefited greatly. The semifinal lineup of the Continental Elite Youth Soul Master Tournament was as follows. In the morning, the Heavenly Dragon sect was fighting Shrek Academy. In the afternoon, the Tang sect was fighting the Holy Ghost sect. These were two semifinal rounds with many talking points. Whose dragon-type martial soul was stronger, Yu Qinlong's Blue Lightning Tyrant Dragon, or Wang Qiu'er's Golden Dragon? Under what circumstances would they meet in the tournament? This was the biggest talking point of the semifinal round. Which dragon was stronger? Because of Long Aotian's impressive showing, Wang Qiu'er's reputation dipped a little. Even though she hadn't fought Long Aotian, many believed that she was weaker than him. Of course, there were loyal supporters of Wang Qiu'er as well. In their eyes, the ravishing, cool, and elegant Wang Qiu'er was the best in this tournament. As long as no one defeated her in a duel, she would always be the strongest. Many people fought as they tried to debate the question of who between Wang Qiu'er and Long Aotian was stronger. The second semi-final round was touted to be the most intense match in the entire tournament. Those who were sharp could tell what kind of existence the Holy Ghost Church was. It was made up of evil soul masters. However, the Sun Moon Empire had been restraining all discussion of the Holy Ghost sect. Since the Sun Moon Empire dared to let the Holy Ghost sect compete, they had naturally made their own arrangements. As a result, it was illegal to even discuss the Holy Ghost Church in Radiant City. Even so, everyone still wondered how strong an evil soul master sect was. If they emerged as the eventual winners, the Sun Moon Empire would become a laughingstock. At the very least, it would be a black mark on the entire history of the tournament. What had Shu Qianran thought? That history was written by the victors. If he could rule over the entire continent, what black mark could he not remove? This fact alone was why he dared to let the Holy Ghost sect compete. There were some quite intense objections even within the Sun Moon Empire. However, Shu Qianran wasn't bothered. After he curbed some of them with violence, the Holy Ghost sect managed to complete their registration. Nobody liked an evil soul master sect. That was why the Tang sect became the hot topic in this second semifinal round. The Tang sect had defeated the Snow Demon sect, which had possessed the seven-ringed soul sage Long Aotian and a few soul emperors. They had fully demonstrated their abilities. To many spectators, the Tang sect was a huge treasure vault. They always delivered something new to win in each round. Could they defeat their opponents and achieve eventual victory? It was difficult to tell. However, it was probably their only hope. From their showing in the quarterfinals, it was evident that their abilities in the later rounds were greater than what they had shown in the earlier rounds. If the Tang sect couldn't stop the Holy Ghost sect, the Holy Ghost sect was likely to be the eventual winners. That was why many people supported the Tang sect secretly. They hoped the Tang sect could defeat the evil soul master sect. This video will end here.